Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining on the Monday morning. So, just a bit about myself. My name is Mangesh Khapre, and I work with Mira and Smita in UST. And we are doing some great implementations on Health Cloud in UST. I'm a developer at heart, but I'm currently playing roles like architect and consultant as well. And almost all of my experience is with healthcare clients. Yeah, here I am to share some tidbits from my experience. Yeah, so this is just to say that disclaimer that we should make any recommendations to any client or any teams based on our own practice and research. So whatever I will tell you here, just try it yourself and then recommend so that we will be sure. And let's keep the chat active. We will have, I think Kahoot quiz is at the end, but we will have some fun polls during the session and we will participate and answer some questions there as well. Okay, so let's start by asking what is healthcare. So when we say healthcare, we generally think of doctors, patients, nurses, hospitals, and all that. But we almost always forget the other important pieces of healthcare, which are health insurance, right? Which are a pharmacy from where we buy medicines and all. So how does it happen in US currently? So in other countries this may be slightly different, but in US it happens this way. So let's say we have Mr. John Wick, who works at Goodwill Softwares Incorporation. So he's basically an employee of Goodwill Softwares Incorporation, and he's his employer. So now John Wick either can buy insurance for himself, or the employer can buy insurance for himself. So as per government laws, employer has to buy an insurance for John Wick. So basically, employer will buy an insurance for health from Health Shield Insurance, and all of the Goodwill's employees will be covered under that insurance, which we call it as a group plan. So now Goodwill can buy directly from payers, or they can buy through a broker. Like in India, we have LIC agents, right? So such kind of brokers exist in US healthcare as well. Now next step comes that okay, so John Wick gets ill, depending on the seriousness of illness. So let's say if he has a cold and fever only. So he will go to Dr. Miranda Bailey, who is his primary care physician, which we can get just a normal clinic we can say, right, where she will test him with a stethoscope, prescribe some medicine, he will go back home. Or if he is seriously ill, he has a heart attack or something, right? So he will go to this Kim's Health hospitals. So he will get the treatment there, and and he will come back home. So here in this case, Dr. Miranda Bailey and Kim's Health Australia are providing health services to John Wick. So they are healthcare providers, and John Wick is a healthcare receiver. But generally, we don't call it as a healthcare receiver. In this context, John Wick is a patient. Same thing happens with pharmacy. So this pharmacy is a drugstore, a medical store, or a chemist store, what we call it, right, in different part of the country. So he will buy medicines. He will pay his share of the cost. For example, there is $1,000 cost, so $800 he will pay, and 200 $200 he will pay, and $800 will be paid by the insurance company. So yeah, if these are in network, so all these are covered, all these doctors and pharmacies are covered by the health insurance, then he doesn't have to claim for himself. What he will do, they will submit a claim on behalf of John Wick to the payer. So now Health Shield Insurance, which is a health insurance company, is paying for the services which John Wick took, right? So that's why they are called healthcare payer. So we have provider, we have payer, and yeah, we have the employer as well. So now John Wick is a member of health insurance company. So that's why his claims are submitted, and he gets the reimbursement. The providers get the reimbursement. So yeah, I'll stop here, and we can have a fun poll here. So uh, out of you whom how many people think that patient is a customer? Type yes or no if you think patient is a customer or not. Okay, we got yes. Great. Yep. Some yes, many yes. Yeah, correct. So we are getting many yes here. So yeah, that's correct. A patient is a customer. Definitely is a customer. But I believe that patient relationship is more than just a buyer and seller relationship, right? When we go to a doctor, he doesn't just prescribe medicine, takes money, and do everything. He has some feelings for us as well, right? That's why we say that family members cannot operate on their other family members, right? So that kind of care and empathy has to be there with the providers, the healthcare providers. So there we will come today. So let's focus on the care of John Wick, not just on the drug. So yeah, before going there, these are the some jargons you will hear when you are working with healthcare clients, right? So so HIPAA is just a law. It's a government law which has some regulations for health insurance. It's called Health Insurance Patient Portability and Accountability Act. PHI means your health information cannot be shared with anyone else unless you give a consent, and only those who require access, only those people can have the access. EHR means it's basically an application which is used by providers, which used by hospitals. So imagine a digital book of records, a notebook where all your medical conditions, medical histories from birth till date are registered. So that is EHR. So we are in a government body. So HL7 is a standard which basically defines how two systems should communicate with each other. So like we say that, right, one system should have a JSON format with other systems. So some standards are defined by HL7. Some syntax are defined by HL7. It also defines what functionality should a EHR should have, right? So EHR should have these many functionalities at the minimum. So those are all standards are defined by HL7. FHIR is gaining very traction these days because interoperability. So two systems should be able to communicate with each other. Their data model should be in a way, to software programs should be in a way that their data model should be able to communicate with each other. So that is interoperability. Then these are code sets. With the different code sets we get to here: ICD, HCC, HCPS. So ICD is basically a unique identifier of a disease. For example, I have a fracture on my left hand of the thumb. Then there is a unique code to identify that fracture. HCC is a code which identifies the risk. So morbid obesity is a risk to heart diseases, right? So there is a code for that, HCC22. And HCPS is a code, basically what treatment was given to the patient, right? So to identify that, there is a HCPS code as well. Apart from that, payer has some administration systems as well. Most payers have their administration system to adjudicate claims, pay claims, then do enrollments, member enrollments, create health plans, and all that. So that is a different system. There are different products on that space. And EDI is again a format, you can say it's like a JSON or XML format. Actually, it's not a JSON or XML format. It has its own syntax. So there are different types of EDI, and it has its own syntax. Basically, it says how information is passed between two objects. So it has a particular syntax and it follows that. So yeah, I hope this makes sense. Okay, so now why will you use Salesforce Health Cloud to solve our healthcare scenarios, right? So first thing is that Health Cloud, when we say patient is not just a customer, it's more than a customer. But again, the customer core part, right? The contact center things, and then all those patient engagement and collaboration, and all those things should come. But apart from that, there is care coordination. There is some EHR data we have to integrate. We have to customize the health journeys of the patient. So all those things should come. That's why we will go for the Health Cloud in Salesforce. So Health Cloud basically serves 4 industries. So yeah, so basically 4 industries are providers, payers, pharmaceutical, and medical devices. So providers are basically hospitals, payers are health insurance company. So in this case, pharmaceuticals is not a drugstore. It is a drug manufacturing company also, you can say. So for example, Cipla in India, right? Ranbaxy, all these companies are pharmaceutical companies, right? So Health Cloud also serve their needs. And then there are medical devices companies as well, right? So in hospitals, we see different medical devices, right? Okay, can you guys tell me what are the medical devices we see in the hospitals, and any medical devices we see in the hospital? And yeah, ECG machine is one, correct? MRI, X-ray machine, right? PET scan, correct? Yeah, even a stethoscope, right? Even a oximeter, dental chair, yeah, CT scan, correct? So all these machines are sold by medical devices companies to the hospitals, right? So they also get the benefits with Health Cloud. So how providers will get benefit? They will have better patient engagement. They will have integration with EHR systems and different systems. Uh, they will have care coordination. So this is the focus of our topic, to care coordination. So providers can manage care for their patients. They will care for their patients with care plan and other things, which you will see. Payers also same thing. So payers, customer service representative. So for example, I can call into a health insurance company and ask, okay, I want to do a dental surgery. Can I do the dental surgery? So payers can see the benefits and all plans and all that. They say, okay, no, you cannot do dental surgery. So that kind of a unified view of all the members, right? 360 view from benefits to medication history to everything, right? Payers can get, and they can also have a personalized journey. Same with pharma companies. So pharma companies, yeah, in this Corona times, we have seen, right? We are seeing a lot of things about clinical trials and vaccine trials and all those things, right? So the pharma company needs to introduce a new product in the market. They also need to do clinical trials. They need enrollment for those clinical trials. They need volunteers for that. So they can identify and recruit candidates for the clinical trials, right? Say then as per some mandates, they also have to do care programs. So for example, they introduced a medicine which has to be taken daily, and someone people are not allowed to miss that dose. So pharmaceuticals can, I mean, organize a care program for that, and they can also track that. And again, sales. So if you see in our hospitals today, MR comes to a doctor, right, and he sells the medicine. Okay, you take this medicine. Same thing pharmaceuticals company can do, right? They can sell directly to the physician because they know which physician is expert in what and which physician will require what. So all those insights will be there with the pharmaceuticals company. Same with medical devices companies. So instead of the drugs, they are selling the medical devices. So they can also have this inside. They can do also R&D and all those things. So I'll pause for a minute and see if any questions still here.
I think there was a question related to security, Mangesh. Like all the securities are inbuilt to Health Cloud or not? That was the question.
Correct. So security wise, yeah, we have platform shield encryption and event monitoring and all that. So those are standard Salesforce features. And apart from that, as per the HL7 standards, Salesforce maintains a what we can say a data model which is secure to communicate with. So that's why, yeah, I think that is the biggest concern, putting the data in cloud. But Salesforce has all those things in place which we can manage security. And device manufacturers can also use campaigns and marketing cloud and all that. So it's how you use the Health Cloud to sell. So as I said, Health Cloud is, I'll tell about that as well. Yeah. Yeah, and Viva, correct. So Viva CRM is a system which is used by a life sciences client, right? So this is again, I think we use in a project to integrate Viva CRM with Salesforce. So now I think Health Cloud is a better choice, as Sunil said here. And even Viva Vault also, Viva Vault was used to keep documents. We can also integrate that, or we can use Health Cloud for documentation purpose. So I'll move ahead in the interest of time. Okay, so how to start on Health Cloud? So Health Cloud is a managed package on the App Exchange. Like any other app we install from the App Exchange, we can install Health Cloud and get started. Otherwise, you can just Google, or in Trailhead, you will get a 30-day free trial for the Health Cloud, which you can register and start using. And yeah, to download from App Exchange, you need a contract to be signed. That's what I said. That's what I found. And after installing the package, you can use either a personal account or an individual account for patient member. Personal accounts we use generally where there is a B2C case, which is there, right? We are directly there is no parent account to the patient. Patient is itself an account, right? So that's why we generally use personal accounts. But that choice has to be made carefully because personal accounts also have some limitations. Then creating, so we have to create a console app so that we can have a console, like in Service Cloud, we have a console app, right? So same console app we have to create so that we can have a tab, sub-tab menu, and console kind of navigation. And then we have to create a record type for account. So account is our core object for member or patient here. And what Health Cloud contains? So Health Cloud is basically a collection of different kind of custom objects, different kind of standard objects to Health Cloud. The clinical data model to support HL7 and FHR standards, permission sets which grant access to apps, objects, lightning pages. And there are many customized lightning pages and components. So these are pre-built features, we can say. They are into the Health Cloud, which we will use. There are some flows and automations at the back end as well. And it is built on top of Service Cloud and Sales Cloud. So it basically leverages all these functionalities. And you can even leverage other clouds as well, like Marketing Cloud, like FSL, Field Service Lightning Cloud, and CPQ as well for quoting purpose as well, right? So you will get that to later, but yeah, these you can leverage in Health Cloud. Then there are some extension packages which we have to install to get some other features in Health Cloud which are not in the initial package of the Health Cloud. Okay, so let's just get to the demo time, and let's just see some features here. So yeah, here I'm in, you can see I'm in a family clinic console. This is my console for the family clinic. This is my clinic name. And Charles gives the patient name. On the left hand side, you see some information. This is a pre-built component in Health Cloud, patient navigation details, card, and all that. And on the right hand side, there are some details. So let's see how we reached here. So this is just a record page, account record page, which we can customize as per we want. On the left hand side, you will see all the standard and custom components. See, if you see here, there are some Health Cloud custom components you can just drag and drop and see where it's needed. Then you can have some related. Oops. Okay. Then you can have some related things as well here, which you can customize. So basically, this is just a record page customization. So now let's see how to configure this. So there are 3 ways to configure Health Cloud. So first way is to use the Health Cloud admin app. So this is a Health Cloud admin app. This is a separate app in Health Cloud package which we can use. Another way is to use custom settings and custom metadata. Since this is a managed package, right? Some people build pages using custom settings and custom metadata. So that's why there are some custom settings and custom metadata to manage. And then third way is to basically just go into the quick find box, do setup, and do some standard customizations as well. So I'll show that to you as well. So for example, this patient navigation, right? This is just a opening of URL, right? When I click something, some URL will open in some subtab. So this is configured in the custom setting. So it is configured in this custom setting. See, you can see all the care plans, household, and all those are there. There are categories and subcategories listed, and there is a URL as well to the VF page. So that's how we can customize patient navigation menu. But to customize patient card, we don't have any we don't have a custom setting. We have to go to this Health Cloud admin app. Then we have to open this patient card configuration tab, and you can see all this patient card configuration. So whatever information is being displayed here is getting displayed from this configuration. So here we'll basically just say what object name and what field name which we have to fetch data from. So this is like that only. Moving on to some different features now. So now in the right hand side we have, this is just a detailed page. So if you see timeline, okay. So what is the timeline? So when we say timeline, we have some, I said EHR is a notebook where from your birth till date, every medication history, allergy, treatment, everything is recorded, right? So those data we can bring in Salesforce, and we can see this is a window right now. Nothing is visible because nothing happened in this window. So I will just increase this window and you will start seeing the data. So on 7th August, Charles had a 30-minute consultation, which we call an encounter. Here he had a 60-minute consultation. He had a hospital discharge here. Then If we go here, then he has a checkup with PCP, then he has an insulin prescription. So all these details we can view in a timeline. So this is a very flexible component. We can adjust the time period here, and we can see all the details. So, and how it is configured. So we have to go to Health Cloud Admin app. We have to add whatever information should be included in timeline view. We can just create a new record here, and we will give object, friendly name, field name, and all those things. So this way we will configure the timeline view. Contact tracing. So yeah, so contact tracing is a word popular in the corona times again. So you must have heard like uh, if someone gets corona, then how many people were around him, right? So it's similar to that, but again there is one more purpose to this contact tracing, which is called emergency response management, right? So if Charles Green falls sick, or he calls in and falls sick, so whom to call? So he can call Ben Green, or the care coordinator or customer representative can call Ben Green or John Wick and tell Charles Green is sick. You just take care, or he's in a hospital or something. So this is basically a representation of related accounts and contacts. Then we have live events. So again, live events are not configured from Health Cloud Admin app or custom setting. They are configured from the setup menu. So if we see here, there will be something called live events. Okay, so those we can configure. We can change the icons and all that, and we can create a when that event happened and all those things. We can save and all that we can do. I'll just do cancel since I had one. Okay, so John Wick's, I think it's Charles Green, but his dog died on March 11th, so we captured that. And generally, we know, like, if a John Wick's dog dies, what we do? We have to go for his mental health treatment, right? I mean, otherwise there is chaos everywhere. We all know that, right? So these life events will enable the care coordinator to identify what happened in the life and what should be the necessary action based on that. So that is life event.
Mangesh, just a sec. Can you increase the zoom in your browser? That would help. I think the text is a little blurry.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to. Okay. So basically Charles Green dog died, so that's why we captured that live event here, and now care coordinator or CSR customer representative can just what to do next. Now this is the important thing. So what is the care? Basically now industry is moving from corrective care to the preventive care. So it makes sense for everyone, right? Even insurance companies, they don't have to pay hospital bills in lakhs or in crores rupees, right? In millions or billions of dollars, right? They can just prevent from a surgery to happen. How they can prevent? They can have a care plan, they can have a wellness program or anything. Or if some patient already had a heart stroke attack, then we have to take care of that patient for like 6 months, right? He has to eat something and all that, and get medications, get consultations and all that. So all these we can capture in care plan. So here we can see there are some care plans created for Charles Green. Those will have a goals and tasks and all that. So I'll explain that to you in a bit. So to take care of this care plan, we will have a care team. So right now, Mangesh Khapre and Melinda Smith are in the care team. So Melinda Smith belongs to the family clinic, and Mangesh Khapre is a relative of Charles Green. So we are in the care team of Charles Green. So that's how we capture the care team. So again, this is again. So technically speaking, care plan is just a case record. Okay, care plan is a case record. And care team is a case team member kind of a thing. So again, care plan tasks, we will have what are the tasks? Okay, give medication, take blood glucose level and all that. So those are care plan tasks. So if anything of the care plan is missed, then it creates a record for a care gap. So for example, a diabetes medication is mixed, it will create a record of diabetes medication is mixed. Okay, so it will create a care gap. Then another thing is care determinants. So care determinants is an interesting thing. So it is actually called social determinants in healthcare, social determinants of health. Here we are calling care determinants. So for example, someone has to go to the doctor every week, and it is like 10 kilometers away from his house. So he has to use some kind of a vehicle to go there, but there is no public service there. So this is a barrier to care determinant. So reaching to hospital is a care determinant, right? But lack of transportation is a barrier to that. Then again, visiting, then care determinant can be having a online consultation. But having a not good working internet connection is a care barrier to that. So that is kind of a care. So you can be creative and think about all the care determinants and care barriers in this thing, or you can just Google for social determinants of health. You can configure this in here as well. So here also we will discuss this model. Basically, we have to solve this, like lack of transportation. So how will we solve this? We will see that. Then we have care observation. So care observation is basically like every day we have a blood glucose levels or a BP check or anything. So everything either we can note it here, we can put it on a portal, and patient can create a new record here, or he can call into the customer service representative and tell that, okay, today I took my glucose and it is 120 milligrams per hour, something like that. And then also we can integrate the medical devices, right? So right now we have all those blood glucose and BP, and even in app and all that, all those devices we can integrate with this, and that can also capture this care observation record. And then care programs, as I told you, let's take an example, right? So special program diabetic management, right? So this program is basically to manage diabetes, which is created, and there is a pill created by some company which has to be taken daily. So that is a care program created, and that has to be managed now. The care program again will have enrollees, different number of enrollees. The difference between care plan and a care program is that care plan is created only for one patient or one member, but a care program can have different number of enrollees, and even a patient can enroll in different number of care programs. For example, vaccination drive, right, for corona is kind of a care program only, right, where multiple people are enrolling in that care program. Similar things with other medications and other doses and all those things we can manage in a care program. Okay, so care request, this is actually a term, it is more important for a payer perspective. So we have something called pre-authorization. So I told you an example, right? So for example, I have a nose surgery, I need to make a nose surgery, which we call a rhinoplasty, right? And I'm not sure if it will be covered or not. So even CSR is not sure, right? So I can create a care request for the patient, and it has to be go through a two-step approval process. So first level approval, if he approves it, then based on the benefit plans and all that, he will approve it. Then I can have a nose surgery. If he doesn't approve it, it will go to a medical doctor. So it will be a MD doctor hired by the insurance company. He will just review and see if this nose surgery is really needed or not, because plastic surgeries are needed when there is an accident, but we cannot have plastic surgery in insurance just to look good. Okay, so that medical reviewer has to review this. So that is a care request flow, and that we'll also discuss in detail a little bit in a bit. Yeah, remote monitoring I'll just show you in a bit, and I'll tell you that. And these are just related lists. So all the related details, whatever EHR encounters, right, consultations and cases and all those things we can show here. So this is just a related list of the column. Yeah, and there is one more thing here, which is called household. So again, household has own it's again an account record which is having its own record type of household. It is basically a representation who is related to Charles Green, who is his care team, and who is his related contacts, and to basically track everything. It's somewhat similar to contact tracing only, but the difference here is that it has more details. We can add members to Charles Green household, and then we can add care team members. This gets beneficial when we have home health. So let's say there are bedridden patients, right? Some paralysis patient or some other patients, right? They need home health care, right? So we have to put a nurse in their home. Then we have to track who is there in the home, who is in the family, and who can take care of them. All those things we can track in a household. So this is very beneficial for home health things, but we can use it for other things as well. So yeah, so here, okay, yeah, so I'll just show one more thing to you. So we have something called provider search. So this is again a Lightning page which is custom built by Health Cloud team only in the Salesforce. It is a default in package. So for example, I want to know what are the doctors near me, right? And you can see this is a maximum distance. I can put something and I will get the results. So for example, I just type GR here. I will get the results, right? So all these doctors or hospitals, Great Health Clinic, Gayatri Satish, it's near me, or it's within 5 miles or 10 miles and all that. I can enter my address, right? And see what are there. I don't know if it will search or not. I think it will not search, right? Because Bengaluru we don't have any doctors configured. Okay, so this way we can search based on the specialty, primary care, subspecialty, plant type, and all that. So yeah, so basically to know the doctors around you, so to schedule a visit, we can embed this feature in a patient portal as well, so that patient himself can see the provider search, or we can give it to the care coordinators or the healthcare pair CSRs and all that. And this is configured not from the custom setting or from for the Health Cloud admin app. We have something called provider search. We can go to this provider search config, and we can add new fields here, basically which field from which object. So healthcare provider is the object we use for the provider data. So basically we will just say which source field and which target field, and that will appear in the search thing here. That way we can configure. Again, there is one more app again. So this is a paid app. Actually, this will have a different kind of I think this will have a different kind of a license, but this is something to show. It like okay, so a Lightning scheduler, right? So if patients have to schedule appointments, right, so they can schedule it with Lightning scheduler. This has an add-on license. We can set up operating hours of a doctor, specialty, skills, and where they work, at what time, all those things, right? And if you want just to create a service appointment, I can create a service appointment as well. For example, I can say at what time I want to schedule an appointment for the patient. I can create a start date permitted and duration and all those type, right? So all this arrival window, schedule start, actual times, and all that. So all these things, if we enter, then we will be creating the service appointment. Again, patients can themselves also do it on the patient portal side. Okay, let's see if I have made something. Yeah. So I told you about remote monitoring, right? So this basically gives us charts based on the care observations. So whatever care observation we put, that BP was 120, BP was 140, all those charts we will see in the remote monitoring page here. Risk stratification. Okay, this is actually a Health Cloud extension package. This is not in the initial package. We have to install this package. But this is very, very useful, I would say. How it works, we saw HCC codes, right? Morbid obesity. So based on that is an identified risk that this person can have a heart disease. Okay, so what Salesforce gives us, Salesforce will give us some risk scoring tables which will have these HCC codes, and we can put some HCC codes there. And based on those HCC code, we can run some data flows. So those who know Einstein Analytics, they must be familiar with data flows. So we can run data flows and just analyze the information and see who is at risk and who is not at risk. Similarly, we have standard Apex batches as well, which we can use to recalculate the risk scores of every patient. So it will just show that this the population that risk score is 3.635. So looking at this, payers can decide, okay, I need to arrange a wellness program for diabetes patients, so something like that. So they can make decisions based on that. Yeah, that is risk stratification. Again, it also might need Einstein Analytics license because it will have data flows and all that. Yeah, and this is again important. So again, this will again require a community's customer license. But again, I would recommend everyone to use this because we can have communities for patients, members, providers, and even partners. So partners in the sense that the drug manufacturing companies, they have distributors, right? The medical devices company, they also have distributors. So those are partners. Providers in the sense that if a provider needs some information or need to raise a case, he will not call a service center. He can just go to portal and do things. So same things, this kind of a community we can create. We can add things like contact request button, contact things and all that. So basically, those who are familiar with communities portal, now they are called experience sites, by the way. So those they can customize these communities and add all these other different features from the Health Cloud. Yeah, and this is a latest feature from Health Cloud actually, intelligent document automation. So what it does in healthcare industry, even today, we say digital, but still there are hard copies of forms, claim forms and authorization forms and enrollment forms and all that, right? So we can just scan this document. What Salesforce will do, it will just scan that document. It will read the data from that document, and we can match it to appropriate object. Again, this will, I think, require a different license. You can check, but this is again a very nifty feature to have in Health Cloud. We can upload documents. We can take documents from fax integration, or think creatively. We can have some integrations as well to get the documents in Salesforce. So yeah, this is basically that. Okay, till here, any interesting questions? Anything to take?
Mangesh, there are a couple of questions actually. Maybe we can look at some of those really quickly.
Yeah, quick. Yeah.
So one question from Dilip, like Health Cloud comes with input size. Can we just customize it? Is that?
We can customize it, but as per my experience, we need the license as well, right? Customer community license, so that users can log in. So that you can check on that. Yeah, but we can customize.
Mm-hmm. So another question from Manish: do we have specific template for Health Cloud like Manufacturing Cloud? We used to build using Experience Builder.
I don't have an idea for that on that Manufacturing Cloud.
Okay, and also Priyanka is asking like if Health Cloud is same like Field Service.
No, it is not. It is different. But we have this Lightning Scheduler, which we saw, right? It has it leverages some features from Field Service. Like it is totally different from Field Service Lightning. Yeah.
Okay. Another question from Dilip: to search for providers, do we have to have the provider info stored in the auth, or it can be from public?
No, we need that info in the healthcare provider object.
Okay. Another question from Raja: can you use Lightning Community user account for patients?
Yes, correct. They will be basically community portal users, right? So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. And another question, I think you might have covered this, but already. What are some inbuilt apps on Health Cloud?
Yeah, whatever features I'm saying, those are mostly inbuilt, and I'm calling out the outside ones as well.
Okay, yeah. And Jackson is asking if you can share or provide the URL for the managed package for Health Cloud.
Yeah, that is actually available on Trailhead. I'll give it to you, the Trailhead link. So yeah, you can give.
Yeah. That's what now. Maybe
Okay.
we can take later.
Yeah. Actually, I think we are a little out of time, but yeah, I'll just run quickly on the data models first. So we saw care plan. Care plan is basically, you can see here in the case, care plan the case. Then it will have a problem that pain disrupts sleep. So sleep is getting disrupted for Charles Green. Then our goal is to reduce the overnight pain, and then there will be a task created for Charles Green. Okay, do stretching. So if he misses that task, then it will be a care gap. Then to monitor that, we will have a care team as well, and they again it will be connected to all his previous data and all that. So that is not important for now. The next model is for the care program. So care, as I said, care program can have different enrollees. So care program will have a association with a product. So product can be a drug or can be a machine. So for example, we have blood glucose machine, right? So we have created a care program for blood glucose machine. So that product will be here. Then to monitor that pain away, right? To get it's getting the pain away or not. That is a product, the drug, and the Charles Green is our patient account, and then they are enrollees in the product. So yeah, basically there are some goals, care program goals as well, and there are management and all that. So we can use the Salesforce surveys to get the enrollees in the care program. So that is there. Then care determinant, I think we discussed this in detail. So we have a care determinant transportation. There is a care barrier, lack of transportation. Then to solve that, we will have a task or goal or secure transportation or task is there. Find ride service covered. So we can even contact with Uber, right? For Charles Green that, okay, Uber, go there. He doesn't have a bus. So that way we can address the care barriers to ensure that care determinants are reduced at all. And this is care request authorization, which again utilization management we call in PAIR. So basically there will be a care request for no surgery, and there will be reviewers like medical reviewer, medical director, first reviewer, and they will just check the coverage and member plan object. So yeah, so CSR will have this view in his that member plans, coverage benefits and all that, and he can see whatever there. And even the medical director, we say, right, he can also see the details and see if the request needs to be approved or not. By the way, there are some app exchange products as well, which basically do some automations on doing this care request authorization. So I'll not go into that detail, but you can explore on that as well. Then by default we have some business APIs from Health Cloud APIs to create a patient, then contact tracing, record, and to care services, right? To create a service request, referral, complaints, grievances, and appeals. So all those things, right? So if a care service is denied, right? So why did you deny my nose surgery? I can appeal about that, right? So all these APIs we have in the Health Cloud, those are REST APIs. You can try them from Workbench or a Postman or something, and you can try them. And you can think creatively where we can use this API. You can use these APIs in your own website or some mobile app or with medical devices or anything, right? So that's up to your creativity how you use these APIs. Okay, so we come to the last. So now what is in the future of healthcare and Salesforce Health Cloud? So recently you all must have heard the news that Salesforce acquired Velocity. So what Velocity has a industry domain called health. So what they were doing, so right now, what are the payer administration systems and provider system, right? So those flows Velocity developed in Salesforce itself. So payers can manage their health plans, get codes about the health plans, and do rating configuration of the plans, and then do enrollments and all those things. Do provider network management. When I say provider network management, right? We have in-network and out-of-network concepts with a healthcare payer, right? So those we can do in Salesforce. and again say again customer service and all those things, right? So with Velocity acquisition, Salesforce Industries, Salesforce will bring all those features in health. And again, this is digital health. We are all hearing telehealth. It's more than I would suggest that it's more than just a video call, telehealth, but that is a different topic altogether. Then we can have IoT with medical devices. The population health is basically identifying the trends and doing analytics on the large set of data. Interoperability we discussed. Precision medicine. Right now we just prescribe crocin for any kind of cold and fever, right, to everyone. But precision medicine is like that. Crocin works for Mangesh, and paracetamol works for Smita. So that kind of things is going on in digital health. Then cyber security, as someone mentioned, right? It is very important to secure the data regarding the PHI and all those things. So that is also an important part. And there is digital patients. Again, these are just portals and mobile apps and all that. On the digital identity, there is something called consent management in Health Cloud actually. So if I need to give some consent, I can just show that form to the patient on the mobile app or a portal, and he can just put his name and sign and accept the terms and conditions and give a consent that I can use this data. And when we discuss risk stratification, we were running data flows on all sets of data. So all the payer companies and provider companies have to be careful that they only use the data for which the consent is received, for which they are able to do the analysis. Otherwise they cannot analyze any data, right? So they have to be careful there. Yeah, so that's it for today. So let's just focus on Health Cloud and let's rock. Hope everything was good for everyone. That's it for me, Smita.
Thank you so much, Mangesh. I think one or two questions maybe we can take, then we can move to Kahoot. So there is a question on license and pricing. Is there any insight on that?
Health Cloud pricing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, that's you should contact either partner or enabler. But it is built on Service Cloud, so it is slightly pricier than Service Cloud as per my experience. But you can check with your partners, account executives.
Okay. Sure. And I think that next is the follow-up question to something else. I think community is for health payers, not for patients.
No, community we can have patient experience sites as well, right? We call it experience site. Patient portals we can have, provider portals we can have, right? Even as a patient can log into a portal. We cannot call it member portal as well, right? So yeah, we can have communities as per our liking.
Okay. Is patient consent managed in Health Cloud?
Sorry?
Patient consents from patients, is that also managed within Health Cloud?
Yeah, there is something called consent management. There is a very good tailored module on that. So basically it's just signing the documents and all that. Like we had DocuSign and all that, right? So Salesforce had built that flow as well in Health Cloud. You can check it on Trade.
Okay. Is case object modeled as a care program or is it a Health Cloud object? Okay, so for care plan we use case object. For care program is a different object in Health Cloud. Okay, sure. I think I've covered most of the questions, and some of the questions our community members also helped to answer, which is really great. Is there anything that I missed? Okay, Service Cloud related question. Are we using any of the Service Cloud objects or functions in Health Cloud?
So yes, Service Cloud case object, right? So case object is built. So basically, Health Cloud is a on top built on Service Cloud, and there are some features from Sales Cloud and other cloud as well. But at the core, it's a Service Cloud. We have all the features of Service Cloud like case management, case assignment rules, and all that, right? And yeah, so that's built on it. And we don't need Service Cloud, Dilip. We need Health Cloud. It will be covered. So it's like on top of that. Okay. Yeah, and one question from Jackson, like, is Vaccine Cloud part of Health Cloud or is it just? Yeah, I don't have any idea about Vaccine Cloud, to be honest, but I suppose they have built Vaccine Cloud leveraging the functionalities from Health Cloud. So, yeah. Okay.
I think because of time constraint, we need to stop here. But it was a great session, Mangesh. I think we might need more time to go in depth. Feel
Yeah.
free to reach out to Mangesh in case if you have got additional questions. He will be available in LinkedIn to support.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter as well, Mira. Smita told me.
Finally, yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
finally, yes.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mangesh. Now we can move to Kahoot. All the questions are based on the topic that Mangesh just covered. So over to you, Parvati.
Okay.